Welcome to the Drilling Millions podcast, presented by Sage Dental Partners.
Speaking to you, you come across as very much an entrepreneur, and I mean that endearingly. But obviously through Bloody Tooth Guy, you're a surgeon. And, the way I sort of thought entrepreneurship in the context of dentistry was, I could be an entrepreneur, but then I'm in a pool of, everyone else is an entrepreneur. But if I go into dentistry and then be an entrepreneur, then I'm in a, I may have the upper hand in a much smaller group of people. What was your thought when you were kind of moving through life? Because I'm sure you would be hella successful if you were just an entrepreneur, but you're kind of a bit of both. What was your thought process and your kind of the way you thought of it when you were choosing between the two?
I think that as you age, you realize that you're not ever just one thing at all, right? So people they meet me and they're like, oh, you're an oral surgeon, and I'm known to many people as like Dr. J, or people who know me in my personal life, they see me Dr. J, oh, he's an oral surgeon, whatever it is. That's what I do. I do that, I believe, very, very well. And I appreciate what you're saying, because I do think if you look at people by and large in any industry, if they have any kind of acumen and they go all in on that, you talk about Cardone, but if you think about Gary Vee, right? Go all in on what you do well. I mean, I always understood how to deliver an experience to somebody. And I think I do it well. And so the marketing, the branding, the actual way a patient feels when they're in my offices, all of that is just kind of in me. I ended up in dentistry, like I've ended up in most things in my life, almost, I don't want to say by chance, but to some degree by chance. I mean, I have a very, very close friend who's an orthodontist in Westchester and in the city, who I met first day of undergrad. And he walked into my room and he was like, "You're friends with this guy?" I said, "Yeah, I'm friends with that guy." And I was impressed by the fact that he had the guts to come into my room and just be like, "Hey dude, nice to meet you. I know this guy that you know." And we became really, really close friends. His father was an orthodontist. And I was like, oh, dental school sounds fun. I'm good with my hands. I'm good with people. It's good, okay, I'm going to go to dental school. So I ended up going to dental school. And like I said, I thought about going to get my MBA in 1999. And I was going to be I didn't even know what it meant. I was like, I'm going to be an investment banker in the healthcare space, whatever. I had literally no clue what that meant whatsoever. But my friends were making some money in our 20s, and I was like, I'm a resident. I'm making no money. I got to go do something. And then thankfully the markets turned, and my friend that friend was talking about said to me, he's like, "Dude, you're an idiot. You're gonna be an oral surgeon. Go be an oral surgeon." So I did. Unfortunately, my entrepreneurial kind of vibe fit with building a business. A dental practice, a surgical practice, whatever, is no different other than the service that you're providing than any business, right? I mean, you speak about the restaurant industry. Our margins, oral surgery margins, specialty dentistry margins are good. They're great. In fact, that's why PE and corporate dentistry is interested in it, right? Better than general dentistry, but significantly better than, and our success rate is significantly better than the hospitality industry. That business is, food cost is 40%. Their margins are 5 or 10%. And think about all these guys who go into it, and it's amazing. And it's the best. I would love to own a restaurant. It's something that I would I mean, it's my whole thing. And I think I'd be able to deliver a really good experience in the restaurant. My cooking would be shitty, but the restaurant looked great. The people would be there once and be done.
You can go take up from another restaurant.
Right, exactly. But I think whatever I would have done, again, just to kind of take it back to what you said, I would have tried to figure it out. I'm without trying to sound whatever, I'm like a gritty hustler kind of guy. I hustler in a good way, not hustler trying to do anything shady. I'm trying to make it work. My dad is a guy who nothing ever really came easy for him in business, and he always just he just never gave up. He called it stick-to-itiveness, perseverance, and he just did it. And it was inspirational, continues to be to me. And that's just what I do.
Yeah. Perseverance or even persistence is so underrated. If you
Right.
knock on the same door enough times, someone's going to open.
That's right.
Someone's
That's
going to
right.
open it up. But what is being, just talking to you, like what is being self-made meant to you?
You know, at this point in my life where you have some time to kind of reflect, which is crazy. I don't have any time to reflect, but like you're at now this point in your life where like, okay, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm like, I'm a pretty established dude, and I could say that without sounding like an asshole. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. And in a world where a lot of people are trying to like puff out their chests and kind of pose and pretend that they're doing things or they've been given things. So here's the thing. I'm not like a hater guy. Like I if you're successful, however you got there, God bless, enjoy your life, whatever. But I do think for me personally, having worked for it makes it sweeter. It really does. Like, and I think that people look at me who know me, who really, really know me, and they appreciate the fact that I have done it myself, and I really have not been handed anything. I don't come from anything crazy at all. I mean, fine, but nothing crazy for real. Like my parents never took me to Europe. We'd like drive to Florida to go to see my grandparents on vacation. Like, I had loans in school and all this kind of stuff. And so to be able to have done it myself, people feel like, oh, you should be proud of yourself or whatever. I don't have that. Like I say, I don't have that. Maybe I'm starting to feel a little proud of myself, but I feel like I have so much more to do, but it feels good to know that I've done a little something myself.
What do you use to stay humble? Like, is it a wife? Is it your kids? Because I mean, in a lot of ways, you responded to my cold DM to come on this show. That of course you're not making anything for coming on the show. You just want to share your story. But like, what do you use to stay humble? Because a lot of people, once they get to a level where you're at, the nice cars, the nice house, you could very easily get sucked into that mindset of, I'm better than everyone else now. What keeps you grounded?
I think the knowledge and the fear that it could all go away tomorrow. I mean, like I really believe that, we're very, very fortunate to kind of be given the opportunities that we're given. I don't, listen, I have nice things. I experience nice things. To me, that's much more important than the having, because once you have, it's whatever, you realize it's all bullshit. But for me, I think really just without having to, make more of it than it is, it's really this kind of feeling that at any moment it could all just disappear. I mean, and it can. A lot of people just kind of rest and sit easy, get so boastful and proud and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, I think I was watching something, maybe it was a reel or a TikTok or whatever it was, and it was Robert De Niro, and he's like, you just got to be calm when it's going great, because it might not be around, and be calm when it's going shitty, because it's going to get better. Like, the only way out is through. Keep going, keep your head down, do what's right. Ultimately things will work out in the end.
Yeah, there's another similar quote by Jeff Bezos, and he said, "Don't feel 30% smarter when the stock's 30% higher, because you're going to feel 30% dumber when the stock's 30%
Right.
lower."
Exactly. He was in some interview in a car like 20 years ago. Maybe he was worth like, I don't know, 10 billion at the time, and he was saying something like, the stock was whatever it was, or the stock was tanking, but he knew the business was going well, and he's just like, all right, we'll see what happens. I mean, you see all these guys are whatever. I'm obviously nowhere near that level, but the point is that you just got to like take it easy, keep it real, understand that like it's all fleeting, all of it.
Yeah. And in terms of, staying hungry, because again, you've accomplished so much, but yet you want to grow 10x. How do you do that while, you mentioned your wife, your kids, you have a life. How do you do that while maintaining a life?
People talk about like work-life balance. I don't believe I don't believe that there is a balance per se. I've said this in other interviews. I think of it more of as like a work-life harmony. Is the appropriate balance for you appropriate mix for you is what's right. I wake up on Saturday, I'm doing work in my head, like I'm constantly like working because that's what I love to do. And honestly, to some degree, it has affected not, thank God they're all good and healthy and they love me and that's all that matters. But like, I mean, I'm talking to you right now, right? I mean, I could be sitting with my wife and my daughter, like I said, my other daughters at school. So I could be, but this is what I do. This is just who I am. And, I guess you take the good with the bad, and not everything I do is the right way, or certainly not right for everybody, but it's working for me. I stay hungry because I know that there's so much more that I need to do. I mean, really, like I people are like, oh, you're whatever, you're successful, whatever. I think this is the beginning for me. I don't see it as remotely like where I want to be. And again, I don't even know what that means. Like, if you would have said to me 20 years ago, if you have this amount of money, you're good, right? I'd probably be like, yeah. But no, there's so much more to do.
What does success mean to you?
Freedom. I mean, I think the ability to just kind of almost do, I don't want to say what you want, but success is time. People think about success in terms of money. I don't see it that way. I think success is the ability to make a decision and just do it without thinking too much about, I'm not talking about unethical decisions. I'm talking about like life decisions. Like, what, if I really wanted to, I could get up and, I'd have to plan for it because I have patients scheduled, but like I could go with my wife or my kids or all of us and friends or whatever and go do whatever, not thinking about like the minutia, just being able to be free.
Enjoy it. Yeah, that's why I find it so funny when really rich people go and move to like Puerto Rico. I'm like, what's the point of being rich if you can't, do what you want to do?
Right.
Like, cause it's completely, antithetical, because it's like, okay, well, I can only enjoy myself if I'm in this like isolated island, right?
Right.
To
Right.
pay taxes. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, no, I'm very fortunate where I live and what I'm able to do. My life has been very, very, very plentiful in terms of, the experiences I've had. I have so much more, like I said, that I want to accomplish both professionally and in terms of living. But I've been lucky, very, very lucky.
Jason, unreal conversation. Thank you for being on the pod.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you for everything. Thanks for having me.